Yo, what is up guys, it's Pedro here, and in today's video I'll be doing a stock up, stock down after the Washington Commanders versus Ravens joint practice. I'll be showing you guys some highlights as well. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well. It really would help me out. Also, go ahead and join the Discord. We'll be doing some giveaways once the season starts. And the link for the Discord server is in the description. So let's get started. The Commanders got 2 solid days of work against the Baltimore Ravens. Shout out to the Ravens and for the Commanders for getting this together, setting it up, because they didn't do it the last few years under Rivera, and I think that honestly played a role in their slow starts every single year. Part of it's because they were bad. Part of it, I believe, is because they weren't prepared enough, and I think that this will help them out a ton. So shout out to both sides for getting this done. But we had some guys that did well, some guys that didn't. So let's get into that. So first guy, I want to go with Sam Howell. I thought he had a pretty good, couple days there. Couldn't watch a ton because the Ravens, broadcast was showing mostly the Ravens offense, which, some fans were complaining about with the Commanders. But you got to think on their side, like, what's going to get more views? Them showing their offense with Lamar Jackson or their defense. It's going to be their offense. So that's why they were showing their offense instead of ours. But for the most part, I think Howell looked good. And I think I can't remember exactly the stat, but it's something like 12 or 15 on the first day. Like, he looked good. Here is a clip of him doing a sidearm pass to De'Ami Brown, I believe. So you see right here, you see Rivera there. He's rolling out and then able to do that sidearm. That's a tough throw, kind of across the body right there. It's a really good throw there by Sam Howell, and shout out to Sam Howell there for the throw. He looked good for the most part. Didn't really hear about interceptions from him. He might have had 1 or 2, but I didn't really hear about it. He was connecting there with his receivers, with Jahan Dotson, with Terry. I'm excited about Howell. Like, I think he has a chance to be the best quarterback we've had since Kirk Cousins. And that's not saying a ton because the quarterbacks we've had haven't been great, but I think he has a shot. I really do think he has a shot to be a solid QB this year. I don't know why they haven't named him, QB1 yet. We know it's who it's going to be. It's just a matter of, when they announce it, but it'll be soon. And I think it's better to announce it earlier than later, so I hope he does it before the preseason game, but it might be after, who knows. But Howell's definitely been did pretty well against the Ravens, and that's a good test, a new defense. You've been going up against the same defense every day. Now you're going up against, a different defense and a respectable defense. I mean, they got, Patrick Queen, who was, early pick. They got Roquan Smith. They had Marlon Humphrey out there, who was there day one, and the receivers were getting the best of him. I mean, he was doing well too at times, but then he got hurt, unfortunately. They have a lot of injuries now. A lot of injuries. We have some too, and then they have Owe as well. Like, they have got some solid players out there. What's his name? I think John Johnson. I think he might be there. Kyle Hamilton, I know, is there for sure. I know they got one other safety. Maybe it's Marcus Williams. I'm not completely sure, but they've got some good players on their defense. And Howell looks like he passed that test. The receivers also were looking good, especially day one. Terry was, beating, He was winning his routes. So was, Jahan. And, even some of the other guys like Marcus Kemp looked good as well. Some of these were 1v1s, which, again, you expect the receiver to win that because the drill is, it favors the receivers. But these guys were doing it in 7v7s, 11v11s as well. And that translates for sure. So shout out Terry. I heard it, the most from Terry, Jahan, Curtis. I saw De'Ami get a couple passes as well. He got that, sidearm pass right there. That was in 7v7 or 11v11. And then some of the other guys, like Marcus Kemp has been doing pretty well. I would say stock up for him. Byron Pringle, I wouldn't say stock up from joint practice, but in general, like, he's done pretty well. Had that nice catch in the preseason. I think he's making it. Mitchell Tinsley, heard some good things about him. Kazmir Allen has done well, but he's got to work on those drops. He has to work on those drops for sure, but stock up a little bit for him, and then stock down for some of those other undrafted free agent receivers that aren't doing too much. Dax Milne, I don't know. It's going to be tough for him to make it, but there's still a shot. These last couple preseason games are going to tell a bunch, are going to be huge for those receivers after maybe the first 5, which I think Byron Pringle is close to a lock to making the team right now. So, yeah, stock up for most of the receivers. And this is not really like surprising, but stock up for Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne. I mean, they were just insane this weekend, or not this weekend, this week. John Allen had a play where he just, absolutely obliterated the guard. Here you got, John Allen stopping the run a little bit. He doesn't finish it, but, Deron Payne finishes the job there. And, loss of whatever, 2 on the play. So this D-line is going to be nasty this year. And this was without Chase Young. So Chase Young, when he gets back, hopefully really soon, it'll translate and he'll do well for them. So, I mean, I'm not going to say stock down for Chase Young, maybe slightly because he's been out for a while now. A stinger shouldn't be taking this long. Hopefully, I mean, if he's not practicing fully, I would say, let's say on like next Wednesday or Thursday. I guess today's Thursday. So a week from today, if he's not practicing, I'm starting to get a little concerned because that shouldn't be taking that long because that would be, almost 2 weeks from that injury. So we still got another week, but once we get to that point, I'll get a little bit concerned. But I'm not concerned right now at all about the Chase Young injury. Some of the other injuries I am concerned about, but not Chase Young. So stock up for John Allen, Deron Payne. Montez Sweat here had a good play, but a guy that's been really solid is Andre Jones. He's been getting a lot of praise. He got work with the ones, and that is interesting because KJ Henry did not. He's been getting work with the threes. Andre Jones has, even the preseason game, he made a nice play. So I think there's a shot Andre Jones makes it. Or I think, honestly, right now, I would probably put Andre Jones on the team, and there's a shot he makes it over KJ Henry. I don't think so. Maybe if Pedro Mathis is hurt, because they probably want to keep 10 D linemen, right? 11's too much. But let's say Pedro Mathis is hurt and he needs to be put on IR once the season starts, which the thing is you can't put him on IR before, so that would complicate things as well. But you could keep 11, put Pedro Mathis on IR, and then bring back another linebacker or whatever position you want. But you might say, well, if you're putting Pedro Mathis on IR, you want to probably bring in another D tackle. But the thing is, you obviously got John Ridgeway as a backup, but then you have guys like James Smith-Williams and Efe Obada who can play inside as well. So you have some versatile guys, and they did, at times, especially Efe Obada played inside, so you don't necessarily need to bring in another D tackle. So I would say, I would just say that you can keep 11 if you really need to. If Andre Jones continues to show out, I think you're going to have to keep him. He talked about how he loves, Ryan Kerrigan being his coach, talks about him being a legend, which I love. And I'm a big fan of Andre Jones. I think, I really hope he makes this team. Let's see. Christian Holmes continues to ball out. And on this play right here that you're about to see, he does get beat. But what I love is he doesn't give up and he's able to break it up at the end. I believe this is the play I'm talking about. So Lamar drops back, and I think that's Bateman or Treadwell. I think it's Laquan Treadwell, but he smokes Christian Holmes, honestly. But Christian Holmes, good closing speed there, doesn't give up and able to, force it out. And that's a great play. That's a really good play by Christian Holmes. And, Derek Forrest, I think it was Derek Forrest or Benjamin St. Juste, had a similar play last year where I don't know if Derek Forrest got beat. It might have been Benjamin St. Juste, but he doesn't give up and he forces the fumble on the play and they get the ball back. That was an amazing play. We probably don't win that game without that play. So don't give up. I love those DBs. And Christian Holmes, such a nice guy when I met him, was one of the coolest dudes I've met in the last couple of years during training camp. So really hope he makes the roster. Some other guys at the DB position I've heard some good things about. Both days I heard, that Tariq Castro-Fields got a PBU. So shout out him, and Danny Johnson I think had one as well. But I think Christian Holmes makes it, honestly. And stock up for him for sure. Let's see. Okay, now we're getting to stock down a little bit. So O-line, I heard they didn't do well. I mean, they didn't do terrible, but they weren't great. I think the O-line was a little bit better yesterday. But let's see. You look at this clip. This is Andrew Wiley. Boom. Gets absolutely smoked by Owe, the Ravens first round pick from a couple years ago. I think that's him. But just gets absolutely smoked. I don't know, man. Andrew Wiley, I wasn't in love with the signing when it happened, especially for the money when we could have gotten some other guys. And I kind of I think he would have been better at guard, honestly. You could have put him at guard and Cosme at tackle, and I think that possibly could have been better. but they chose to do the opposite, and it is what it is. We'll see what he does this year, but first game was terrible for him, and people say, oh, he only had 4 bad reps. Well, first of all, we only played a quarter and a little bit more than that. Second of all, if you're an O-lineman and you have 3-4 bad reps in a game, that could be 3-4 sacks. And 3-4 sacks, that'll lose you the game. So, yeah, get out of here with that talk. I mean, if you have 1 bad rep in a game, that still could mean you have a bad game, because if you have a bad rep and, your quarterback gets sacked, hurt, or fumbles it, well, you failed your team on that play. So, but most of the time, if you have 1 bad rep and it's a pressure or it doesn't even lead into anything, it's fine. But 4 bad reps, that'll lose you. Could lose you a game. So Andrew Wiley definitely stock down. He continues to not perform the best. So don't love to see that, because Sam Howell is doing well, but at the end of the day, he can't do everything. And if the O-line is hurting him, then he's not going to be at his best. So that's one of the only guys I really thought performance-wise deserved to stock down. And even him, I couldn't, there wasn't a ton of plays, but that was just a play I saw. Federa Mathis, big stock down for him. Got hurt in the preseason game, wearing a boot on his left foot. So this is not performance-based, but just injury-wise. You get a left boot on, and that when we found it out during joint practice, stock down for him for sure. Hopefully this isn't anything too major, but whenever you got a boot on, you get a little bit concerned. So we'll see, but not looking good for him, man. Back-to-back years. Starting the year off injured, and I guess last year he didn't start the year off injured, but he got hurt in the first quarter. So not looking good, and I agree with this first comment right here. Really wish that round 2 would have been O-line. I hated the pick when it happened. People were like, you're overreacting, but I don't know. And the thing is, and someone in the comments right now will be like, well, if he's healthy, it'll be fine. Well, if he's healthy, I said this right when we drafted him. He can be a good player, and I still think it's a bad pick because of what we have in front of him and other positions that we're lacking. And I felt similar when we drafted Quan Martin. Liked the player, but didn't think it was the best pick. But it is what it is. Stock down Sadiq Charles, because originally I thought he was hearing good things about him, but then he got pulled from team drills with another issue with his calf. Not great news there for sure. And then don't want to expand too much on it. We'll see. We'll definitely hear a little bit more about it. Other guy, Kendall Fuller. Day 1, he was getting burnt. I watched more of day 1 than day 2. Day 2, I heard he was a little bit better. He had a nice play. I can't think it was against Flowers, but I thought that was, he locked him up, but I think it should have been PI. But here is a play of OBJ cooking him up a little bit. But again, Kendall Fuller, he's inconsistent, but we know at some point in the season, he's going to be that guy. Not an elite corner, but a pretty good corner. Last year started out a little slow, but eventually, he was pretty good. So Kendall Fuller a little bit stocked down. Emmanuel Forbes, I don't know. I think he did well a lot. I would say a slight stock up for him. I think he's getting beat a decent amount, but these are good receivers, and he was also locking them up a decent amount. So I would say slight stock up for him, because originally yesterday I talked about him doing really well, but then I looked back and watched some of the clips, and he was he got beat more than I thought he did. So I would say slight stock up for Emmanuel Forbes, and then anyone else, I'm trying to think, again, the receivers, most of them, stock up for them. Running backs, we didn't hear too much about them. Tight ends, I think Cole Turner had a solid day 1 and John Bates a solid day 2, so maybe slight stock up for them. Curtis Hodges, I don't think he's making the team. And Logan Thomas, continued stock down. I'm starting to get concerned, guys. It's been since August? The start of August, or maybe a little bit after that he's got, he's been out. So for me, that is extremely concerning, and I hope he's back before the season starts. Besides that, I don't know who else. I'm trying to think, but that's kind of it. So hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, guys. New and peace.